do think it's not easy finding a supportive partner in this type of field. I mean, I got lucky. I have the most supportive partner I think in the world. I mean, I'm just tooting my own horn for my man. But it wasn't always like that. Like before I did modeling, like I was actually like held back from starting because like the guys that I was dating, like they weren't fucking with that at all. Like you not doing first, they wouldn't even like when I would go to the gym type shit because this is like, you know, an insecurity thing of like you looking good and da da da. And whereas like my boyfriend now, like he's like, you know, excited to see every music video. He's excited like when I have a booking, he packs my bag, like he packs me lunch for every booking, like. So I mean, like, it is hard, but it's possible. It's not impossible.
I feel like it's a 1 in a million chance for real because a lot of men are like they're haters. They don't like it. They get insecure, like you said. Yeah.
And especially as a model, we are people that get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And that's just who we are. We step outside, it don't matter where the fuck you go. The modeling, it's on always.
People recognize you from this video. People recognize you from podcasts. People recognize you from here.
So it's one of them things, and I think there's such an appeal to that because it's kind of like people are like, oh, wow, like what's going on with her, da-da-da-da. I want to get to know her. But then it's like, oh, that's a lot because
she get a lot of attention.
She get a lot of attention. It's people wanting to talk to her. It's, oh, my God, you're so pretty, like every 5 seconds, da-da, so on and so forth. And that's not something that everyone can handle.
Very true.
And stop taking y'all issues onto us because it's not our problem. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you want to be with a bad bitch, you need to be able to handle a bad bitch.
And that's what I was going to say.
Like,
I think it falls into a lot of things, like people trying to fit puzzle pieces where like the puzzle don't fit. If you have a triangle piece, why the hell are you trying to fit it inside the circle? Like if you want a triangle, go get a triangle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so guys get this idea of like, yo, I want to be with her because she a baddie, like on the gram, like she got motion for real. Da-da. Then they get with you and it's like, they tend to water you down, or you tend to like, you know, water yourself down because you want to make them feel comfortable, and you start wanting a relationship because you're thinking like, okay, well maybe like, you know, like I do need to tone it down. Maybe like, you know, like it.
Maybe it might too much, but you're not. Yeah, you're not. And also sometimes people will kind of not see you as a person and more like a trophy.
Yeah,
that's a really big thing too. Not even just in relationships, but like in friendships too. That's something that like I really notice, especially like when you're popping off, when you're with celebrities, whoop-de-whoop, which. To us, we're kind of like whatever. Like most models really don't give a fuck about being around celebrities because they tend to be like, a little bit like irky.
I'll be honest with you, half of them will say hi to me if I'm like down in like Brooklyn area, not because I was in a video, but I won't remember them.
Yeah, but it's like people will see that though, and like it's a lot of fake love from that. And then you kind of have to be on guard because it's like, okay, are you approaching me because of
you like me, or
my
you like
brands, or like what do you see I got going on, right? Because you like me,
or you like what I can potentially do for you.
Right. Exactly, and so that is something you have to keep in mind. And I think
guys
it's not really talked about. They do, of course.
Guys do it like girls do it in friendships, but like I've seen it with guys, like they only would want to like go out or hang out with me because like they want to get close to like, you know, the scene, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like even for me, like I was like, I would never go on dates with guys. Like before my boyfriend, like I would just not give anybody time of day because I'm like, okay, you're just a groupie. Like you just.
It's like a form of social climbing.
It is.
Yes, it is a form of social climbing, and social climbing is an issue. Like, you know, for us, unfortunately, like even with having friends, like you just never know, like what female is like actually trying to be your friend, or what female wants to be close with you because they want to get booked more, or they want to like leech off of like the people that you know and stuff. Right. And so like I don't know, like people say I like sometimes I'm a little mean, but it's not that I'm mean. I'm just like I'm very selective who like I hang out with or I get close to and stuff.
And
like,
you have to be.
Yeah, like you can't be just giving everybody your time or like you know.
I also feel like it depends on what your boyfriend does, like in his career.
This is true.
Sometimes these men are in the industry and they're like, I don't want my girl in music videos. I don't want her doing this. I don't want her doing that. Or you can be in this person's music video because I don't fuck with their music or I don't fuck with them as a person. And it's like, at the end of the day, you're not paying me, dude. You know what I'm saying?
No, facts.
And it's a job. It's a career, you know? Like, you can really make a lot of money off of this, and it's your rapport. You show up somewhere, like not that I've seen this, but like I know some people show up with their boyfriends, stuff like that, but let's say you get there and he starts acting a fool.
Yeah.
Like,
stop bringing the weird boyfriends around. Oh my God,
that shit
I got a story on that one.
Over, and I can't wait to hear it.
Girl,
but that shit will fuck you over. Yeah. Like it's gonna come back to bite
your
you.
Reputation.
It is, and you need to think about that because you're representing yourself at all times,
and your partner is representing you.
Absolutely,
so if they're on set
by
acting,
association.
Yeah,
you bring people around, even if it's like birds of a feather flock together, you know? And even if someone only seen you with somebody one time outside,
That's how they remember
they're going to
you.
associate you with that person.
Forever.
So it's like certain people, like you say certain agent's name, you can already be like, okay, that person
Is
has
known
worked with
for
so-and-so or is
da-da-da.
known for, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just, you have to be very cautious about that. And unfortunately, that is something that also gets people caught up a lot. You can't just be lovey-dovey to every single person without some kind of boundary to respect you, because you're working. This is a job. And a lot of people forget that sometimes.
And backtracking about like bringing your like partners to like sets and stuff, like, yeah, like don't bring your partner if they're like gonna be just in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like I did one shoot. It was a brand shoot for like this weed company or whatever, and it was on the beach. And like the girl that I was with, she actually brought her boyfriend, and I guess like he was trying to like he was fiending to smoke his blunt, so like he just kept asking the brand owner and the photographer like every 5 minutes, hey, you got a lighter? Hey, you da-da-da. Hey, you got a grinder? Hey, you got woods? You got paper? You got, man, I want to smoke, man. Like, and just like, you know, playing, then he would start playing his music really loud, and it was like, it was rap music, so there, you know, it's cursing. And like the girl who owned the brand, you could tell she was more on like, you know, the subtle and chill side, and he just starts like playing his music really loud, and he's like rapping out loud and stuff. And
They
we're
don't
like,
know how to read the room.
Yeah, so it's just
It's
like,
so disrespectful.
no, yeah, it's like, this is, if I'm bringing you to my set, like this is for me, so please like do not embarrass me. Like it, but then also just like don't bring your partner either. I guess like I don't know, like my boyfriends maybe came to like one shoot with me, and I think that was probably for when I was doing my feature film in December, and he came for like one day, but like he don't be acting a fool, like he's grown to hell, like he knows better. But definitely, like you need to be mindful of who you're bringing to your sets. And like honestly too, like it was one of those things where like the girl who brought her boyfriend, like he's already insecure, so we're in bikinis and stuff, and like she had a fat ass, so like it was very awkward because she wasn't feeling as she wasn't like, you know, posing as she would if he wasn't there, you know what I mean? She's trying to be a little more subtle and da-da-da. She wasn't as aggressive as like
she normally would
be,
right,
which is why you got booked, because of your sex appeal, because of, you know, how aggressive you are with the camera. But now your boyfriend's here watching you, and now you're going into a shell because you want to please him. And now, and it's also one of those things where it's like he also only came to the booking, and she told me like he came because like to watch, like just to, because you know he's insecure. And it's like, ladies, don't deal with that. If he says he's insecure, if he says he doesn't like it, like it's one of those things, you gotta pick one or the other for real. You gotta pick your career, or you just gotta pick love and be, I mean, that's not really love, because love is not.
Don't, if you're picking a man over a career or education or something like that, you're stupid, and please don't do it. Like, please don't do that dumb shit, because it will bite you in the ass. And now, if you want to, don't complain about it, but don't do that shit.
That's always been my number one like rule of life, and maybe it's because I was raised by a man. Shout out to my dad, raised all 3 kids on his own, but he just always taught me, you don't ever stop making money for no man. You don't ever. It doesn't matter if they say they gotta pay for this, they gotta pay for that, da-da-da. Always have your own money. Like, people look at me crazy, like, why do you work so much? Like, doesn't your boyfriend do that? My boyfriend takes care of everything. Like, I don't have to even worry about feeding myself. Like, you see what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about a roof above my head, my phone, nothing. But like, I'm still gonna work. Like, I'm still gonna keep like stacking a bag. Like,
as you should.
Why? Because like you just shouldn't. You should always have your own as a woman. So it's like when you stop working, or you stop going to school, or like, you know, you're changing your goals around to please this partner to make him feel more secure. Like, really what you're doing is showing that you're insecure with yourself. Because if you were secure with yourself, you would look at that partner and tell him like, hey, like, this is what it is. This is what it ain't. You're either gonna rock with me, or like, you know, we can go our separate ways. Because ladies, trust me when I say it, for every man that won't, there is a man that will.
And at least 10 of them.
What? Like, I'm telling you, I know it seems scarce out there, but there is. And for fellas, if you are dating a video vixen, like, or a girl that's in the modeling world, like, just be confident in her, be and trust her. Like, I think that's,
support her.
And I know it's hard because, like, granted, I've seen girls before at sets where like they're sitting like on the artist's lap and they got a nigga at home. You know what I mean? Like, my boyfriend already told me that straight. He's like, yo, I found out you sitting on so and so lap, or you doing this and that. Like, yo, you belong to that man. Like, I don't like, and it's straight. I'm not gonna hate you, but like, you know, it's boundaries. So it's like,
I also feel like if you know that your girlfriend's been in the industry for like a long time, you should trust her that she knows how to carry herself on set.
Until you should trust everybody until you are given a reason to not trust them. Like, until you are seen, like until you see a reason to not trust them. You know what I mean? Like, But I feel like that's why my boyfriend trusts me, because I go
Absolutely.
to shoots, go home, and that's it. But there are girls out there who do kind of fuck it up for the other girls who are loyal and actually doing this shit.
Because I've seen some wild shit go down on set.
Yeah.
Like, don't you got a man at home, girl? What are you doing?
Like, you see what I'm saying? So it just be like it and not just goes to like, but it's also one of those things like where it's like, as a person in general, whether you're male or female, like I'd rather like be with you and give you the benefit of the doubt, and then just like see your true colors, and then just get the confirmation I need. Like, okay, you weren't the person for me. Like,
Makes sense.
so it's like, fellas, like find yourself, guys. You can find yourself a loyal model. You can. Not all models are hoes. Like, we're pretty loyal bitches over here. And for the females, you can definitely find like supportive, male partners too, that are gonna want to see you flourish. They're gonna want to see you on the big screen. They're gonna want to watch the video with you. Like,
because that feels so good too. Like, when you're just able to talk to your partner, like, oh, I got this booking, and they're like, yes,
excited
like another
for you.
one.
Yeah.
What?
That is such a good feeling, and like even going on to like, I know sometimes people will bring like their man for like safety issues if it's like, in the outskirts, because I've done some shit in Homestead,
facts.
and Homestead, that's just rural areas, but it's just like, as long as y'all support one another and be on the same page, I think that's super important too. Like, y'all have to be in a similar place in life. Yeah. Like, you can't be with someone who doesn't have much going on for them, or
isn't as busy, because models are very busy.
Bad place mentally, and like maybe you're just not in a place to be able to help with that. Like, y'all need to be on the same wavelength, and if you're not, it's okay to let go. Yeah. You have to do what makes you happy and what works for you at the end of the day and what's healthy, because otherwise life is too short, and there are 7 billion people on this planet. Stop playing over one.
I'm telling you, like, and you'll find, like, people come and go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your career, like, you're only this young right now, this very second. You know what I mean? Every second we're getting older and stuff like that. You can't go back in time. So it's like, you giving up something that you're so passionate about, or a brand that you work so hard to build, just to, like, appease to somebody else that can't, have the same, like, happiness for you.
Yeah. Like that ballerina farm. I don't know if y'all saw it on Instagram. Oh, so let me fill y'all in. So basically, there is I don't know their names, but there is this like TikTok couple, whatever. The guy, he's like a multimillionaire. Like, his family owns like different airlines or whatever. Like, they're good. The wife, she graduated from Juilliard, and she's a ballerina, which Juilliard is already fucking crazy to get into.
If you're in there,
she had a full ride scholarship, full ride. So she was in there, super successful ballerina, but she met him or whatever. 8 kids. They live on a farm. 8 kids. They live on a farm. Yeah, and she's still super young. Like, she's really young. And so I think it was like her birthday that just passed, and she wanted a trip to Greece. Mind you, they're loaded. They can easily do that.
Right.
He got her an apron.
No, you're kidding.
An apron.
You're lying.
To cook, an apron. After having 8 kids living on a farm, and y'all are multimillionaires.
Oh, no.
Instead of a trip to Greece.
Oh, baby, I should have just kept staying in Juilliard and like kept the ballerina on my feet.
A full ride scholarship to Juilliard is insane. Like, and unfortunately, that so many women have done this, and like, you have to be aware. I will say though, some people, what happens to you is, what's the phrase?
I feel like
people do to you what you tolerate and what you accept. So you have to send 10.
Because that wasn't the first birthday. That wasn't the first birthday where he got her nothing,
bro.
Right. Like, that was not just this year. He just did that now.
That definitely builds up over time. Like, you see those behaviors from jump, but it's just like, in situations like that, like, for what?
A lot of women, when they fall in love, they get stupid.
Yeah,
they get stupid. They lose their
I've been victim.
Yeah,
but like, eventually, like, you gotta be unstupid. Like, and I'm one of those people, like, 100%. I don't care if you got 8 kids. Mama, leave. Take all 8 of them and dip. Like, go live with your mama. Go live with a family member. I don't care if you have to start over from ground zero. Starting over from ground zero is better than, like, being miserable every single day and waking up. Like, I can only imagine, like, the days leading up to her birthday, she was probably just, like, dreading it. Like, she knew she wasn't gonna get anything. Yeah. And I've been in a relationship before where I was with someone, like, every time my birthday came up, like, I got nothing. Like, and it was terrible. Like, they weren't supportive of it. I couldn't do anything I wanted to do that I was passionate about. Birthdays come around, I didn't get nothing. Christmas came around, I didn't get shit. But if I didn't get them anything, it was gonna be
a problem.
Big ups. World War II in this bitch. Like, and you just have to really just stand on business, stand on all 10 toes. Like,
you have
and
to
just
love you more.
Love you more, and that's what it is. You gotta love yourself more, love your hustle more, and love yourself more than anything else. And that's what I was about to say, because I feel like that's what happened with them.
And then it goes, let's say like they go broke for some reason for a little bit. Can you can you?
I've actually been in a situation like that.
Like, can you like stay with them?
Yeah.
Until they can recuperate themselves again, or maybe they missed a birthday or something.
I've been in a situation like that, and I feel like when you know the person and what they can do with you when they have their own money, then I feel like, yes, of course, I got your back. And that's also why I stress so much, like, as a woman, you should never, like, fully rely on a man. You should always be able to make your own money, have your own money, because sometimes, you don't wish it upon anybody, but stuff like that does happen, where you kind of have to be like, all right, now it's my time. I got to take care of, everything until he gets back on his feet, and that's fine.
Yeah, like, I definitely don't see anything wrong with, because people fall on their feet all the time, not just women.
Right.
Like, men really do, like, lose jobs or, like, don't, like...
Yeah.
As long as they don't get comfortable, because a lot of men
That's
get comfortable.
What I say. You get comfortable. If
They
I
get
don't
comfortable.
see
literally
effort,
my next point.
if I'm not seeing, it's all about seeing the effort of
Mm-hmm.
you trying to do better. If I'm not seeing you actually like applying for jobs, and it's another thing too. If you're not working and like you fall off your feet, which is cool. Like I'm gonna be busting my ass working. The house need to be clean. Do something.
Right. Something.
If you don't know how to cook, learn how to cook. Like
don't
you know
be
what I'm saying?
on that game all day.
Yo, like
No, for real.
but there are
For
some
real.
women like
they accept that.
they accept it because they're just like, oh well, like he's probably just really going through it, so he just like is like depressed, and I don't care how depressed you are, you better go clean that damn bathroom.
Facts.
That's how I feel.
I do think.
I
Okay,
don't care.
I do believe though, like
Go
when
clean it with your
men-
tears, like you know what I mean.
Not
Like
with the tears.
clean up for real, because men will sit there expect when they fall off
Yeah.
their feet, women go
Yeah,
bust
that's
their ass,
true.
they gotta sit on the couch,
That is
and then
true.
when you walk through the door, babe, I'm hungry. What's for dinner? Shit, air food.
Hell,
You
Not
ain't
air
cook. I ain't
food.
cooking either.
Shit, I ate on the way here. I don't know. I don't know
I do
about
think
you.
Like-
when men are like, I think like when men are used to having a lot of money and they do have that moment of like, holy shit, like I lost everything. It's okay to be depressed for a little bit because that's like his whole ego. Men feel like they
No,
have
for
to
sure.
provide. So the woman taking care of them, maybe in the first like couple of months, they're gonna be depressed and they're not gonna do anything. But as long as you show some type of effort after that depressive state, then yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, especially when it comes to, like depression specifically, because
Because
that's
how
more
long
of,
is
like,
this
a mental
depression
health thing.
state? Like we need to put a
'cause
time
there's
frame
difference-
too.
Yeah, because like depression
people
and
be
then there's
stretching
straight up
it.
like laziness. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And I think that's just the difference. It
Yeah.
depends on the circumstances. Because like y'all said, if you're not doing nothing,
Yeah.
I don't want kids.
Yeah.
I'm not about to have a man child. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like.
Yeah.
But if something happens, shit happens and again, this economy right now is fucked.
It's crazy.
It's
like,
fucked. You could
Shit
work
can
a
happen right
full-time
now.
job and still be living paycheck to paycheck. So it's like,
Facts.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. You know what I mean? But again, are you going to get up and do something afterwards? Or are you going to lay down on the couch,
Right.
smoking blunts while your partner is out here hustling every single
yeah,
day?
like
Yelling at
You know,
Call
like
of Duty.
there's a really big difference. I think that's what's important, the context of the situation.
no, yeah, like just clean something, cook,
Yeah.
do something to make up for like.
Yeah. You
what-
have to pull your weight at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
pull some type
Yeah,
of weight.
You
Like
have to.
I don't think there is like a gender role for like breadwinners. I think that like if
Yeah.
the woman is the breadwinner, that's fine. But then like as the man, like if you're at home,
Right,
like
take
you
care
don't
of the
help with
kids.
everything else.
Yeah.
Like whereas also if your man is the breadwinner, like and he's doing everything, like as a woman, like like help out, clean, like cook,
Bring
laundry,
something to the table.
Like
Right.
yeah, gotta bring something because we're not about to be sitting
That's how
here.
resentment builds up.
Yeah.
Facts.
Okay, I got a question. Do you listen to your single friends for advice?
I mean, as the single friends, yeah, absolutely. But also, I will say I learned from like,
As a single friend, for sure.
yeah. But I think also like I learn a lot from my friends' relationships and seeing things. I like to listen to how it goes and their different experiences and kind of be like, is that something I would want for myself? Is that not something I'd want for myself? And different things like that. But also, I feel like as a single friend, you can see things from the outside perspective because when you're like right in the middle of things, sometimes it can get muddled up. You're not seeing the full picture. You're seeing what's in front of you. And sometimes with people in relationships, that's their vision. They're not seeing the bigger picture. And so it helps to have someone from the outside with fresh eyes to be like, hey, you said that, but it kind of sounds like this.
Yeah.
Just to, I think it's important to get different, valued opinions, I will say, not just opinions from random people. It got to be someone where like you value what they have to say and like it's coming from a good place. Because like we said, love can make you blind, and it's important to have that person like reel you in, like, hey girl,
Like hold on now.
no,
Like,
no, or then be like, you know what, you got something really good going on. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Like keep it going.
I
And
definitely think it's important to have a friend that's not biased.
Facts.
And when you're
Yeah.
wrong, she's gonna tell you like you're wrong, and when he's
Yeah.
wrong, she's gonna tell him.
Yaz
like,
is that friend, y'all. Because when I'm wrong, boy, let me tell you, like Yaz gonna tell me like, nah,
I
Nik,
keep
like,
that.
you
But
tripping the
Yaz
fuck
is still
out.
tripping
yeah,
right
Yaz
now.
will tell me straight up, like, yo, Nik, like, you're wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I think you should go apologize to
Yeah.
John. Like,
and that's important.
But I love that, though, because,
Yeah.
like, sometimes I need to hear, like, no, you did have an attitude, or you were a little rude friend, or da-da-da.
Yeah.
You need to be reeled back in.
For sure.
However, it's also your discretion, too, like, what single friend you're going to seek help from or advice from. There are some single friends who do want all their homegirls to be single with them, and they will. I was in a relationship one time, and I'll never forget, like, I was out at Playa. This is, like, a year and a half ago. I was out at Playa with my homegirl. She was visiting from New York, and I think they ended up keeping it, they ended up keeping it open later because Future walked in. And I told my homegirl, I was like, yo, it's 4 a.m. I gotta go. Like, because the dude I was dealing with at the time, like, he don't even play me going out. So I was like, yo, like, just for respect purposes, let me leave. Girl, no, fuck that. Just stay. Uh-oh. Who's finna just stay? Girl, just stay till 6 a.m. We gotta go to Booby Trap after that, too. I was like, and she's single as hell. Like, you know, tricks on tricks on tricks, which is great. Like, I love that, like, for her.
Right.
But for me, like, I had to, like, use my own brain for a second and be like, all right, let me not take this advice because, like, no. So there's a fine line, I think, from, like, taking a single person's advice or taking anyone's advice and just making sure you still have respect for the person you're with. You know what I mean? But definitely, like, in situations where, like, you're wrong, you do need to hear it from a friend that's unbiased and a friend that has, you know, Yaz and Sammy are, like, probably my go-tos. I'm gonna ask for, like, advice.
It definitely helps to have, like, a different perspective. At the end of the day, it's advice. You don't have to take it. You can hear a person out.
And some people are single for, like, good reasons. You know what I mean? Like, girl, like, I'm single because, like, I don't put up with that type of shit. So, like, here's my advice to you. Like, you should not da-da-da-da. Like, here's a game plan. Let's da-da. So it's just all discretion-wise.
That's me with my friends. So, yeah, it's just all it really comes down to is who is saying it. Because, like you said, like,
who's the messenger? Who's the messenger?
You know when people have good intentions behind what they're saying, and you know when they don't.
I had a friend.
And that's so important to take into consideration, you know?
I had a friend, she was on my birthday party, but I think I told you how me and her are not cool no more. But she was one of those friends, like, single as hell, like, could not, like, keep a man for more than, like, 2 weeks, like, was just, like, you could, like, I already knew her personal life was just, like, really messy, and, you know, like, she, like, wasn't happy with herself. Right. So, like, anytime, like, I needed advice, her advice was not the same advice I was getting from Sammy at all. Like, her advice was more sabotaging than anything, but I also, like, was slowly realizing, like, okay, no, she definitely wants me to be where she's at. Like, she don't want to see me be up here and then have to work up here. She's comfortable down here, so she wants to try to bring me down here with her so she's not lonely down here at the bottom.
That crab bucket.
So, crab bucket
that goes back to it's important from who it comes.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, what's the worst advice that y'all have got for a relationship?
Break up with him after the first argument.
Girl, for real. Like,
if he ever tells you no, break up with him.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to see. I just kind of, like, because the only person I really get advice, like, I take advice from is, Sammy. Before I met Yaz, it was Sammy. And Sammy, like, my friend always gives me good advice. I'm trying to think.
That's a really good question.
But that is a big one, though. Like, I've heard, like, the whole, like, oh, yeah, like, you guys are, like, it's an argument. Like, instead of, and I feel like that is an issue, though. Like, instead of telling your friend, like, all right, well, why don't you take a few minutes to calm down?
Yeah.
Like, you guys talk about it, da-da-da. Like, there are friends who will sit there and, like, be like, girl, just break up with him.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. Like, why are you even, like, arguing back and forth? Like, just da-da. And it's like, damn, like, imagine you listen to them, you break up with them, and then it's like the next day you're not even mad anymore. And it's like, oh my God, like, it wasn't that deep. I should have just, like, took a step back and, like, communicated. Because at the end of the day, no relationship is gonna be easy.
It's not
like,
gonna be perfect. Yeah.
I know on Instagram, mine seems peachy cream. But sometimes there are arguments.
Yes.
Like, the Yaz can tell y'all there are arguments. But, you know, in times like that where I'm, like, super frustrated, like, I'll ask Yaz, like, yo, like, was I tripping? Was I wrong? And, like, she could put me right in my place, like, no, friend, like, yeah, like, you know, this is how it should have gone. Da-da-da. And I love that. And I thank you for that. Because, like, times where I be thinking, like, man, fuck this relationship shit, man. Like, if I was by myself, like, I wouldn't have, like, to even have this argument with nobody. Like, I need to hear from a friend, like, no, like, he's a great guy. Like, I think you're just frustrated right now. I think you just have, like, you know, a lot of trauma. Or I think you're just da-da-da. Like, you should talk to him and, like, da-da-da.
Which is
that
true.
is more
Some
appreciated.
people have, like, a flight instinct, too. Like,
fight or flight.
I'm fight or flight.
Like, if something happens, like, especially if you have, like, a trauma from a previous relationship.
Right.
That's, like, a way to protect yourself. You're like, let me dip, you know? And it can come from a good place. Like, sometimes the right thing is to dip, but again, context is super important. And like you said, like your example, sometimes all you need to do is just kind of sit back and hear from a friend. Like,
and that also needs to be your friend. Your friend needs to actually know you too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad, like, you know or can tell like I'm a fight or flight person, and that like, you know, I do have like these issues, like, you know, my past, like you understand why, like if I act a certain way, that like you're not thinking I'm crazy. But like there's some friends that they don't know that. They'll just look at you and think like you're just bugging. But like no, fight or flight mode is like crucial.
No relationship is gonna be perfect at the end of the day. You gotta pick your favorite headache and just rock
For
with
real,
it.
you gotta pick your favorite headache while still having boundaries and
For
like
sure.
standards set for yourself. You know what I mean? Like don't just pick someone that's giving you a headache every single day
Yeah, that's not
because
okay.
this your favorite headache. Like,
And
you
don't
know,
settle
like,
for somebody like
Listen,
that's
communication.
Like, and also don't be with somebody just to be with somebody, because that's a waste of time. That's
and
a waste of
you
time.
feel
of
lonelier
energy.
being with people
Absolutely.
that don't actually make you feel
Absolutely.
seen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think that's
Absolutely.
worse than being lonely for real by yourself.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree. And kind of going back to the question as far as like the worst advice, one thing I can think of like at the top is just something like you hear like as a girl growing up, like if a boy is mean to you, he likes you. I feel like that's just something that like I hate that piece of advice. Just
oh
because
my gosh, I do
it's
that
like,
advice.
because it's just one of those things like you hear it so often, and it's like I get like in the context when they're saying it, you're like in elementary school, middle school, everyone's teeny tiny, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's teasing you, but that shit, like there's a really fine line with that. And especially as men get older and they get bigger and stronger, like you can't play fight with a man. He uses like 2% of his strength, and like he can pin you down, you know, like they're strong as fuck just naturally. And so it's one of them things, like especially with being mean, like some people take being mean like crazy, like brutally honest people that want to use the brutal and forget the honesty part. It's kind of like that, and you have to be very careful with that because that can turn toxic and that can be abusive if it's not already, and you just normalize that like, oh, he's mean so he likes me.
Right.
Yeah,
Bitch, be
and
nice.
It's like no, like your man should be super soft with you.
Yeah.
Should be
With
taking
you
you
and
out of
other
survival
people, too.
mode. Like
Other people too.
how he treats other
yes,
people is
a big thing. It's a
is
matter
a
of time before it
reflection how
goes
he's
back
gonna
on
treat
you. Yeah.
And I definitely think falling into the advice, like like I'm very open about my past experiences. I've been in like 2 very abusive relationships. And the worst advice I really hear from women is, oh, you didn't fight him back? Yeah, girl, no, the next time nigga hit you, you need to go and like fight back. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I only weigh $150.
That is
I ain't fighting
terrible.
someone who's 300 pounds. And 6'5". It don't make sense. And if it makes sense to you, go seek help, because it doesn't. And I'm telling you, no matter how strong you think you are, no matter
You're
how
not stronger
like
than a man, bro.
you're not stronger than a man. And I think like whenever girls tell me that, when they hear like, girl, you didn't fight back, I look at them crazier. Like, what, you would fight back?
Right.
And it resorts to more violence
honey.
because then he might actually go grab a gun and try to shoot you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you just don't know people. So I feel like as women,
Yeah.
we need to understand like we're still women. We could be tough.
Yeah.
But in situations where it can be ugly, like we're still women, so we need to like
you have to think of safety.
Yeah.
Safety first. Like you learn that shit as a child, as a girl. You know, with certain things, it's like don't park far away. Don't park where it's dark. Have your keys in your hands, so on and so forth. So it's like certain things like that. You just have to be on game because that's just the reality of it. And some people don't take that shit serious.
And I also think another terrible form of advice I got one time was actually from that same girl I told you I cut off.
We see why.
Yeah, girl, it was terrible. Obviously coming from traumatic experiences, like when I got into my new relationship, I was, very hesitant to like, I'm like, I was scared to like go out. I was scared like, oh my gosh, is he gonna be mad? But if you know my boyfriend, like he's super like, he wants me to go out. He wants me to make friends. He wants me to do my thing. And so I remember when we first started dating, I had told my homegirl, I was like, oh, like I really want to go out tonight with Sammy, but like I don't want to make, John upset or da-da. And she's like, well, did he say that? I'm like, no, like he wants me to go out. And she's like, well, I just wouldn't go then. Since you feel like that already, I just wouldn't go. And I was just like, it was funny because like my other homegirl Sammy was like, definitely don't listen to her. Like John told you to go. Like don't get that out of your head. Like you know what I mean? Like don't be scared to go places because your old relationships, you weren't allowed to do anything. Like listen to what your boyfriend said and trust that he did say like, okay, it's okay for you to go. But it was just like terrible advice from her from the other friend, because had I listened to her, I would have stayed stuck in that loop of like, let me not like walking on eggshells basically and not doing anything because I'm scared to make my partner mad when he's giving me the green light that he's okay with it. But yeah, my friends over here like, yeah, girl, I just wouldn't do it. I would just stay inside the house. Like, no, now you're telling me to stay traumatized still.
Yeah,
and I shouldn't.
exactly.
Like,
that's exactly what she's doing. And also, I think that just speaks to not only her character, but how are you living your life? That's a big thing. Kind of going back to the advice part. What's going on in your life? Because I'm not about to be getting advice from somebody.
I'm looking at your life.
You're only fucking with people who fuck you over, and then you keep crawling back to them, or like all you do is
fucking
spend
every
money
guy that throw a
and
dollar
you
at you
don't
in the
have
club.
no money
I ain't
stacked
doing
up.
it.
You don't have no
$2
education. You don't got something steady going on. Like if you feel me, I'm not gonna listen to advice from that kind of person. You feel me? Like
if you don't look happy with your own life,
Yeah.
I don't want to take advice from you. And it'd be
Right.
crazy because she would give me advice, but then when I would try to give her advice, I'm
She
like,
doesn't take it.
girl, like
Yeah.
she'd be like offended, like, and but it's funny
It's
because that's why her life
self-destructive.
is very, she would self-destruct
Yeah.
herself. And you know, when you get around, when people who self-destruct all the time get around people who are like constantly trying to climb up to the top and constantly trying to self-improve,
hate that.
they hate it. They because
They
why?
try to
Yep.
bring it back down.
Because
Yep,
why the hell
just
do you
bring
think
you
you're so
down,
good
bring
that
you
you
down.
can keep, getting better? No.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
it's very important to know who you have around you.
Absolutely, the company you keep.
You gotta be picky.
You have to. You know, you have to. Because otherwise, you're the one who's going to get bit in the ass.